Alright, so surprise, this is now the second time of me recording this, because the first time I recorded it, I was having issues with my audio, which I seem to be having a lot. I'm pretty sure my mic is going out, which is just my luck with things. So, heads up, theirs wasn't the video that was going to go up, but I wanted to get this up ASAP, because I'm angry, and I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. And so, the next video you're going to see probably on the weekend. The audio is very bad, nothing I can do about it, but it is something I still feel very strongly about, which is why I didn't want to re-record it. So be heads up for that. But we're going to talk about this new article that came out and how, these these millionaire influencers they just can't stop partying. I want to put the tweets on screen. They just can't. The article pretty much said, like, they have to party or else they won't make money, and they can't go an entire year without making money, like the rest of the world right now. And this makes me really angry for multiple reasons, mostly because there are so many people who have such amazing talents and skills that are getting snubbed over by these influencers who are literally only getting big because of their underage child fans. There's no way around it. I'm sorry. Not an adult alive I know likes their content. It is very much, I've heard people say it's like, Disney Channel originals and Nickelodeon show, and that's what it is. They are literally living embodiments of Disney Channel chaotic shows. The parents are nowhere to be seen because they're almost all being paid off. Did you ever notice that? Because these kids are making and I'm calling them kids. I don't care if they're legally adults, they're kids, okay? Like, they're kids. They're mentally and financially bloody kids. They have had no extreme life experiences from what we've seen. If they do, it's the lessons that they had to learn from those terrible tragedies just didn't stick. Because that's the thing with a lot of these people is this isn't like a whose life is worse contest, but I've had friends who've had very terrible upbringings, and when they finally make it and their hard work pays off, they respect it and love it so much more than the people who it was just handed to. And that's the big issue you're seeing here. If when I was 16 or 15, I was given literally millions of dollars worth of stuff, you know what would happen? I would probably be this stupid too, and I'm sure you would too if you didn't have that hard of a life or people to take care of. And then, they're the same people where it's like, well, they do have people to take care of, Michelle. Why else do you think they take care of their families and their friends and everything? And I'm like, yeah. And that's why those people don't tell them to stop doing it, because they're like, oh, this is the easiest way to make money. And I'm sorry, there's no way around it. This is the easiest way to make money. If you are an idiot with so much money you can just burn it, you're being an idiot. And of course people aren't going to say no to that because, oh, well, it's so hard to make a 60-second Instagram ad for, six figures that most people who are working class will never see in their lifetime, in a year. But they need to party during a pandemic to make money, because if they don't and they don't post about it, well, then it didn't happen. And then they're not working, they're just partying. And I'm going to be the hypocrite here because this is where I got to talk about it. So if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, I was talking about how I had my friend Cation recently. And that must be like, well, Michelle, you totally broke guidelines. You had people come visit you. You're right. Technically, I did. But you know what? They were all people who were self-employed and who were quarantined before that. There were 3 of them. They all came from the same place. And then when they came here, we didn't go anywhere. And the few places we did go, they were all open-aired areas where we could quarantine. We didn't stay long. I mean, we could social distance. We did not go inside anywhere. We did not go shopping anywhere. We pretty much literally stayed in my apartment. We played games. We went for a couple of drives. We bought fast food. If anything was, that we needed, we got delivered here. We were smart about it. And now, what are we doing? Now we are self-quarantining for 2 weeks like we're supposed to be doing. We took it seriously. And I'm not seeing anybody who's immune compromised or who's at risk. I work from home. I live at home. My family, who I already haven't seen and I wouldn't be able to see before this vacation, I'm still not going to be able to see, so I'm not hurting anybody there. And we did everything to the right standards. You can do things the right way, but these people are not doing it the right way. They are not wearing masks when they go out. We did. They are not social distancing. They are not self-quarantining. From what I've seen, like, more than half of them have tested positive because, of course, they had people like that. Because the big Rona doesn't care. They don't care about money, but it does matter because if you noticed how these people have been getting tests and tests and tests, and it wasn't until recently, at least in my state, that you were able to get free tests, which is why my state's numbers are going so high up. I could go into a whole thing about that, but I'm not going to. For the longest time, I know people who didn't get tested because it was going to cost money. Or when my husband and I wanted to get tested, because we are pretty sure back in late February we got it because we got super sick. We were sick for 2 weeks and we did get better, but we were so sure because we had all the signs of the mild versions, which by the way, it was miserable. Mild is not nice to say, but compared to people who literally need lung transplants and ventilators, it's a big difference. But when we wanted to try to get tested to see if we even had it, the hospital told us at the time, they wouldn't test us. They wouldn't waste the test. And do you know how irritating that is? Because it is. So we never got tested. We're probably going to get tested now, but it's been so many months since February for us. What's the point at that point? There is no point. And we weren't going anywhere. We were going to work, or we were going, if we did go anywhere, we went to my husband's shop, and his shop is where his grandparents' house is, where his grandparents aren't there. They are in Washington, that they've been in for more than half the year. They do this drive every year. So we literally went to a house with nobody in it. And we're still miserable. I admit that we are very lucky that we have a place to go to on weekends sometimes compared to other people, but that isn't like everybody. And what's going on right now is making my blood boil. Alright, sorry for that weird cut here. My husband just came in, so I had to do a quick cut. Anyway, what I was going on with this is the bigger issue of them excusing the fact that they are saying, and their managers are saying, well, of course these influencers have to have parties. They just can't go a year without making money because that's where their brand is. Do you know what I would do if I was given $1 million or a 6-figure Instagram ad deal? Because don't think of it any other way. These kids are millionaires. We know for a fact Jake Paul and the others are, for sure. They have their money and other assets. They are smart in that aspect, but they can't go a year without partying because that's their brand. Well, you know what? You need another brand, because I have family. I have family that lost their jobs due to this. I'm sure you listening here have family or friends, or you know somebody who either had the big Rona or had someone who lost what their livelihood was due to this, or had to get another job in a field they weren't expecting, because we can't just not make money, because that's the way the world is, sadly. But we're going on here, and you're telling them, well, these kids just can't not work when we're in a pandemic. And it makes me so angry. It makes me angry to the people who do follow the rules and do everything right. But then you see people having a pool party, or you see people having a giant party. Again, well, Michelle, you had friends over. You're right, I did. Technically, I guess I did break those rules. But we tried to follow them the best we could, and we're doing everything we can now to not spread it more if any of us were carriers or might have had it. There are safe people out there, but it makes us feel like the crazy people. Like I was trying to say before, I had a family member where them and their partner lost their jobs, and they had to then move in with their parents after who knows how many years being on their own in a whole completely different part of the state, because they literally couldn't afford to pay rent anymore. And the evictions are starting, which is what was gonna happen. It's such a terrible cycle. But then we're seeing these entitled brats who have millions to their name with no debt, because keep that in mind, very few kids, I'm not saying all, but very few kids start out their adulthood with debt already attached to their names. So these are kids who never really had to work hard, who never really had to have much, already lived in pretty decent to okay childhoods from what we've seen, just literally given thousands of millions of dollars that people with college degrees or years of experience will probably never see. And then you have this article pretty much sympathizing with them to be like, well, is it really so bad that, like, this is happening? Because they can't go a year without making money. But, you know, you guys are. The guys who, like, actually have jobs that make the world run. You guys can go a year, but we can't stop partying. Because that's our brand. Lol, hee hee, tee hee. And it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad when I see people who do everything right, who follow the rules, whose businesses were affected. My husband's work was affected. Almost everyone I know was affected. Same with my friends who are in college and my family who's in college. So many things have happened. But in my McMansion where I live with all of my friends and we have no parental supervision whatsoever, yeah, we have to have a party of over, 200 people where we get all the stuff needed. So that way we can keep our brand up, so that way businesses will keep sponsoring us to put things on it. Because the other big takeaway from this is corporations and brands are not going to stop sponsoring these kids because they do not care. You might think they care about especially what's going on. They don't care. They see, well, you know who's watching them? Little kids who are impressionable. So we're going to put all the ads we can on their stuff. We can pay all we want on their stuff. Because Simply Neological talked about this in her podcast, where so many companies, I shouldn't say people, so many companies, advertising budgets are going to these influencers because they have a bigger influence. What would be the point of paying for an ad that someone is going to skip within 3 seconds? Because whenever I see those ads on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, I skip them. I watch through a few of them when they're YouTubers I care about because I want them to get the ad revenue. But I'm also an adult. I'm 27. I'm turning 28 this year. So I know when I'm being sold something. Little kids aren't going to know that. Little kids aren't going to realize that. And that's the bigger issue here, is you're still going to see them advertised. You're still going to see them making money. And they could make their money in other ways or use it in proper ways, but do they know? Because they're dumb kids with millions of dollars. And here's the sad truth. I know for a fact, if I was in their same shoes, even with my family the way that they were, if I was right out of freaking high school, gotta cut that. If right out of high school, I was given $1 million and I was able to be like, hey guys, do you also want to make millions of dollars off of my millions of dollars? Because if we live in a house together and we live in a McMansion, or we can do whatever we want because we have so much money we literally can burn it or use it as toilet paper, most kids would do that. Sadly, that's how it is. Not everybody, obviously. But I know I was a dumb teenager back then. And I know that when I had my first job, I didn't spend money responsibly like I wish I had. And so you're giving it to these kids. And so companies are now giving these kids money because all company sees are dollar signs. They don't see people. They don't see what's going on. They don't care. It's exactly why right now the fast food industry, the supermarket industry, because I don't know the technical term for it, and warehousing industries such as packing companies like Amazon are making so much money right now that they could donate more to things to help, fix the economy, help people out, get some relief, but they're not going to because they don't want to. And by law, they don't have to, which is exactly why this article made me mad. I hope it makes you guys mad, and I hope it helps, people realize more that while technically I can't say you can't watch their stuff, if people had more accountability and the numbers actually spoke more than the people, well, then there would be a difference made. So there's my rant. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, as always, to my Patreon patrons. No, this wasn't planned, but hey, here you go. All my other social medias and my Linktree link back down below. And I make new videos for sure every Wednesday, trying to sprinkle more here and there. And as always, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.